Yes, now for an update on sports stories across the globe, Ebi Iyomon joins us. Good morning, Ebi. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Rufai, and good morning, Dr. Abati. Nice to see all three of you today. We'll begin with the program with the report from the investigative committee set to review the events of the Olympics. Now, almost 3 months after the Olympics, they have come out with their findings and recommendations. And these reports basically had Ophili's issue as top priority. And on her issue, they found out that the Secretary General of the AFN, that's the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, was negligent in her duty of communicating to the Nigerian Sports Development and that's Ministry of Sports Development and Nigerian Olympic Committee information of Ophili's event status in a reliable and timely manner. And they also found out that the technical director, that's the AFN, Samuel Onikeku, demonstrated poor judgment by not acting promptly on the information of Ophili's non-registration for the 100-meter women's event. And they say that they should be punished by authorities. And they've also said that a compensation of $5,000, that's 8 million naira, should be given to Favour Ophili for the depression and inconveniences she suffered during that event. But whether it's going to be paid is what needs to be looked into, and whether it's enough for missing that competition which she prepared for a long time is also another topic. And still on the recommendations, we had Ese Pesaraye, who is a cyclist that came out to tweet, that's on X, to say that she had borrowed a bike from a German. She has been asked to apologize to the Cycling Federation of Nigeria because, according to what he found, that the bicycle was rented by the Cycling Federation because she was not initially qualified to run that event, and that it wasn't a case of borrowing because she wasn't qualified to run the event and the bike wasn't available because she had to replace the banned athlete who had initially qualified. And looking at the report, a lot more recommendations were given out. It talked about doping, how different sports federations should set up committees for doping to inform and reinform the athletes and in order to control the doping cases in Nigerian sports. And it also recommended that there should be a proper communication and that it should not just be based on digital communication, but emails and records needs to be put in place to ensure that there's no miscommunication. And they urge for transparency, especially when it comes to kitting contracts leading up to the Olympics or even other major tournaments. It's a lot of recommendations there on the from the committee, and they talked about grassroots sports development, infrastructure, amongst others. We'll see if that is treated totally as opposed to what we always see in such events like this. And still on sports, we have last weekend, that's on Sunday, North Korea emerging the winners of the Under-17 Women's World Cup. And this came after they defeated Spain 4-3 in a penalty shootout. Nigeria, who were knocked out in the quarterfinals, emerged as a fair play team of the tournament because of their conduct and the limited numbers of yellow cards they got in the tournament. And for the player of the tournament just had to go to John Chung from North Korea. We had the Golden Boot, that's for highest goals scored, 5 goals by Pau Comendado, that's from Spain. And for the Golden Glove, it was won by Ivan Ostil from the United States. I'll move away from that and go to the Champions League, where matches are going to be played today. We'll see so many interesting fixtures. We have PSG against Girona. There's Slovan Bratislava taking on GNK Dynamo. Borussia Dortmund will face us against Sturm Graz. There's Bologna taking on Monaco. Celtic taking on Leipzig. Lille will take on Juventus. Liverpool will host the club of Victor Boniface and Nathan Teller. That is Bayer Leverkusen. And Real Madrid face off against AC Milan, club of Chukwueze. And Sporting CP, who has the new Manchester United coach, Amorim, will take on Manchester City. Well, Amorim has come out to say, should Sporting CP defeat Manchester City, the club or the fans will feel like the new Ferguson has arrived. But that is impossible. It's an impossible shoe to fill. We'll see what happens in the Champions League today. And Edu Gaspar, leaves role as Arsenal's sporting director. This is a man who's been there for 5 years and he's masterminded some of the biggest transfers in Arsenal. We have Odegaard. He was instrumental in the signing of Odegaard. We had Gabriel Mangalas from Lille and so many other players. Now, it's been said that he's going to move to the club of Taiwo Awoniyi and Ola Aina. That's Nottingham Forest. We'll see if Arsenal can fill those shoes as Edu Gaspar leaves Arsenal. And finally, for me, we have tennis. Aryna Sabalenka has continued her good run of form. She became the first player to qualify to secure a semi-final spot at the WTA finals after defeating fourth seed, that is Jasmine Paolini, in straight sets. She's been resilient all year long, getting important wins when they matter. And we also have Kazakhstan Rybakina losing to the Olympic champion, that's Zheng Qinwen. We'll see what pans out later today as matches will also be played. Swiatek will play Coco Gauff, and we'll see Jessica Pegula face off against Kresikova. Now the WTA finals will take place in Saudi Arabia, and with a beautiful sum of money to be won. That's $4 million to the singles champion. We'll see who emerges that, but for now, we have Rybakina, rather we have Sabalenka and Zheng Qinwen in the semi-finals of the WTA finals. Well, that's all for me on sports.
Oh my word, it just shows, AB, that Saudi Arabia is really opening up for female WTA, games to go on in Saudi Arabia. I mean, they don't cover up when they're playing that too, but it's fine. But as regards that committee report, some of them I agree with, some of them I don't agree with. Like telling the cyclists to apologize, no. I think it is even the sports ministry now, that doesn't exist any longer, that should apologize to the cyclists for that national embarrassment. And telling Ofili to fix her relationship with, the people at AFN, no, she shouldn't do that. She's got nothing to do as regards that. It is the responsibility of the AFN to ensure that she's entered for events. And please, that $5,000 wouldn't cut it for all she went through, the trauma and all of that she went through. So I think that report was not holistic enough. And those that were supposed to be blamed were not blamed. The last Minister of Sports, where is his own blame in that report? I might not have seen it, maybe because I've not read the full report. It's just your analysis I've seen. The minister that led all of that, operation to the last Olympic, where is his own blame? Because he should take majority of the blame. Anyway, he's written some letter to apologize. But I think that report too should be able to state out the part that he's got his own blame too to answer there. Hopefully, now that we have a National Sport Commission, they should be able to rise up to the party, because enough of all of this madness that goes on in Nigerian sports. And it's surprising that this is happening again. It happened many years ago at the Seoul Olympics. It's also happening again this time around. We are not ready, and I keep saying that. When the nation is not ready, you see all sorts of, higgledy-piggledy like this, when the nation is not ready.
Well, Arufai, replying to your question on the parts where the past minister was blamed, the committee had to come out to say that despite the minister's efforts, one thing he did wrong was to individually pick out athletes and speak about them to the media and speak about their faults. And the committee's report says that every federation has the right to represent the players or speak for the players should the players not be allowed to speak, and not the sports minister addressing the players the athletes, because most likely he doesn't even know their personal issues affecting them. So that's in Article 11 of this report. That's what hammered on the fault for John Eno.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. On my side, Ebi, I'm refreshed and excited if this is a culture that we can establish and continue of doing a post-mortem, even if we come out victorious, even, it shouldn't just be about defeat or a poor outing. When our national flag is represented internationally, we need to develop a culture of coming home and taking accountability, assessing what went wrong and what went right, making it public so that we know that this discourse is happening, but also ensuring that whatever recommendations are made are followed through with. Ophelia, we need to see that alert. We need to make sure that she gets the money. With regards to the apology from the cyclist, I think that's a little bit unfair because it was quite a complicated scenario. Yes, they've said that they're not taking responsibility for it, that there was a bicycle. It's a complicated issue, but I don't think it's fair to now take her through that process of almost public ridicule because we all know that it was a stressful outing for them all. So I think that can be resolved internally. That doesn't need to be a public affair. But all in all, I just say thumbs up to this and let it be a culture. As now Super Eagles are preparing for AFCON, we've got World Cup qualifiers, we've got so many engagements coming up. We want to be seeing these reports and they should be publicized so that we can all hold the process accountable.
Well, quickly, the investigative panel committee report on the scandal in Paris Olympics. We went there July 11th, I think, to August 17th. We didn't win any medal, and we went with about 157 persons or even more. Maybe perhaps if there hadn't been that case of negligence, maybe FIFA Philly could have brought something home for us in the 100 meters. But now that is in the realm of speculation. Whereas that report by the committee is very eloquent about, the cyclist lady, the cyclist should give an apology and Ophelia should get 8 million. The committee is very silent about the negligence of the officials, the Secretary General of AFN and the technical director. The report just says, they were negligent in not doing certain things and they should be penalized. Their penalty is not spelled out in the report that I read. Now, that penalty should be very clear and should be a very stringent penalty because when you allow public officials to get away with negligence, they will do it again. In fact, they should not have used the word negligence. They should have used a stronger word, incompetence, with regard to the Secretary General of the AFN and also the technical director of AFN. As for the ladies that went to the Dominican Republic, congratulations. They may not have won the trophy, but they represented us very well. They got the Fair Play Trophy, and they were adjudged the most disciplined team in that under-17 women's tournament. Can you imagine a set of Nigerians being described as very disciplined? That in itself is quite an achievement. Yes. And Shakrat Moshood missed out on the bronze route, but generally, the team represented us well. They were able to beat Ecuador 4-0. They beat New Zealand 4-1. They beat Dominican Republic 1-0, and then go to the quarterfinals before they succumbed to the United States. But congratulations, and I'm recommending that when the ladies returned, the tournament ended on Sunday, they should be given a very good reception by the First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, who acts as mother of the nation and, will always readily, embrace these athletes, even when the NFF, all these government officials fail to do what they have to do. Well, finally, we're told that Osimhen, in a publication by Sports Pro, which is a media platform, says that Osimhen is one of the 50 most marketable athletes in the world. In fact, he's ranked ahead of Erling Haaland. In fact, Cristiano Ronaldo is not even on that list. So we have these athletes, doing well all over the world. The criteria, you may question the metrics used by Sports Pro, but they were talking about marketability, brand quality. Well, whether Osimhen is better than Erling Haaland, well, that's an argument. But what is important to us is that Osimhen is doing well in the world. Asisat Oshoala is also doing well. These are the true ambassadors. And the girls that went to Dominican Republic have shown that there are disciplined people in Nigeria. Maybe it's only the politicians that are not disciplined enough. Thank you very much.